Hello everyone and welcome to Between Realities, your favorite virtual reality podcast. How are you doing? Welcome. My name is Alex VR. I am co-host of this magnificent show. Joined here, as always, by my side is my co-host Skiva. Skiva, how you doing, brother?
I'm fantastic, dude. It's BR Friday. I'm super happy about it. This is the highlight of my week. It's definitely it's the best. It's the best.
He's beside himself. He doesn't know what to say. He's just so stoked to be here. And we are so excited to have you all with us. Thank you so much if you're here joining us live for the broadcast on YouTube. Thank you so much. Did you know that this podcast is also available everywhere else that podcasts are?
Yeah. iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, podcasts, Anchor,
it's everywhere.
Pocket
Listen,
Cast,
it's on Pocket Casts,
everything.
It's on T-shirt casts. It's on every cast version. It's out there. So if you have those stubborn friends who hate YouTube, send them over to the audio version and just make sure you let them know on all the magnificent visuals that they're missing out on. Because Skiva puts a lot of time and effort into that, you know?
I do.
He does. So hello to chat. Thank you guys so much for joining us here. Mike Newton's here. Welcome to the weekend. That's right, everybody. Welcome to the weekend. The Bearded Bard, let's go. Mr. Trinidad's not going to make it for the episode, but he at least stopped in to say hi. So
thanks
for being here, dude. Mystics in the house.
Yeah.
Robin's Reality, dude, just did an awesome thing with Eric for President.
Yes, she did, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Eric beat us to the punch, damn it. Dr. Oculus, what's up, man? Thanks for dropping in. Jansen Fox is here. Daniel German Rifter, he's here. Dean, what's up, dude? Hussein X, what's up, dude? Texas Green Tea VR Friday, everybody. That's absolutely right. Thank you all for joining us. And I'm excited, man, because today's guest is probably like the most decorated of any of our guests on the show so far, I would say. This is a guy who I had an opportunity to chat with intimately multiple times, and I'm so excited to have him on. He he works at Arvory Immersive Experiences as a creative storytelling director there, and this dude brought home an Emmy. Can you believe this?
Emmy.
The 2020 Primetime Emmy and a Venice VR Film Festival Lion for an immersive experience. This is a VR experience that brought home these amazing awards. So please, everybody, welcome to Between Realities, the Emmy Award-winning Ricardo Laganaro, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey everyone.
Yo.
Good to see you guys. Thanks for the amazing presentation. Much better than I deserve.
Dude, hey man, you're the one with the trophies. All right, we didn't get the trophies. You went out and got trophies. So I mean, I was inspired, to say the least.
Thank you very much, my friend.
Dude,
good to see you.
So good to see you, man. Thank you so much. I'm wearing my VRLA shirt today. I don't know if you noticed that, but I picked this baby up at the convention.
Yeah. I should have tried mine. I still have mine as well.
That's good. This is my pride and joy, man. This brings me all the way back to the beginning. You were there for day one when I went out to LA and got to hang out with Arvery, and we had lunch together out there and ran the booth, and it was such an awesome time getting to meet you and connect at VRLA. So I knew I had to represent this one.
This is awesome, man. I think this is one of the most beautiful things about VR. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be with you both here and everybody that is listening and seeing. But the thing that I love the most about being in this industry, because we see beautiful things starting together, right? Because everything is so new that doesn't matter where you are or what kind of activity you are doing. If you continue doing it, it will become something that it's big in the industry, because it's growing together and everybody's growing together. And we were at the time trying to launch Pixel Rift, right, in 1989, our first game, and you were there helping us a lot with our small booth in VRLA, and everybody had a small booth. We didn't have like the big players yet.
Right.
That was the beauty of it. And now, like, seeing that we had like some good results, and you are already also like with a very beautiful path in this industry in other sides, right? But I think that's the beauty. We need the ecosystem to grow together to make it happens for in a good way for everyone, right?
Well said, my friend. Well said. And it was so crazy because I have flashbacks to VRLA all the time, and one of the things that really is very prominent about that experience is all of the hype around the Santa Cruz at the time. Like, the Quest was not out and everyone's talking about the Santa Cruz. They're like, oh my God, man, when we get this thing, we'll just be able to go right over there and play VR. Like, we don't have to have all this shit. And when I came and tried Pixel Rift 1989 for the first time, it was in a hotel room, and there was Rift base stations like up on like tables and stuff in there, like such a pain in the ass. And now we're like, it's like second nature. Like, I mean, I'm so used to having the Quest just sitting on a table to grab and throw on. Do you ever think about like how when we were at VRLA, it just was like a dream, and now here we are just like living in it?
No, it's unbelievable. Like, I've been working with VR since 2013, right? So for more time, I had to use headsets, having to like making the setup every damn time. So still today, when I get a Quest and put on my head and it just works, it sounds like a dream.
It's like a miracle.
Like a dream,
right? It really is
a miracle. It's a miracle. Good word.
I remember the days of the Oculus Rift CV1. Like, that's really where I, right after my PlayStation, I got one of those, and oh my God, plugging in all those sensors. I had 4 sensors around my room, so I needed 4 USB ports for that. I needed a USB port for my headset, and I needed all this stuff, and then go through all this setup every time. Oh my God, it was a lot of friction, but it was worth it.
Yeah, and then it sounds like we were like in another era of this industry, right? And it was like 3 years ago when we were together working there. It's a different time relation we have with like VR. Everything happens way faster with the regular things, right?
Yeah, it's true. And you know what else didn't exist then was the line. Is it a linha? Is how you pronounce it in Portuguese? A linha?
In Portuguese, we say a linha.
A linha.
Linha.
A linha.
Yeah, perfect Portuguese.
A linha. Man, you sounded just like the narrator from The Line in that. That was sultry and beautiful.
I had to guide him so I could get some like a little bit of his talent. So.
I hear it. I can hear it. So Pixel Ripped, because we're gamers, Skiva and I are gamers, our audience, a lot of passionate gamers. Pixel Ripped definitely on the forefront for being a gamer for a game for gamers, right? But I would say that the line is probably one of the lesser known experiences as far as like the VR gaming community is concerned, especially when you compare it to the Pixel Ripped series. I feel like everybody knows what's going on with Pixel Ripped, but the line's over here sitting on a lion and an Emmy and doesn't quite have as much promotion or at least as much time in the spotlight. So maybe you can introduce the line to some of our guests in the audience here who are unfamiliar and haven't seen it yet.
Sure. The Line is an interactive narrative piece in VR. We like it to call it an embodied narrative, right? Because it's a narrative that happens in a scale model of São Paulo, my city here in Brazil, in the 40s. And there are these two characters, Pedro and Rosa, that they love each other, but they cannot connect because they are in different paths. And since they live in this scale model, they are stuck in their own path that they cannot get out of it. And you as the player or the user are invited to manipulate and interact with this beautiful scale model to help them firstly live their lives and understand how they live their routines, and you get integrated in their routines as well, and until a moment that you think everything is going to be the same, and the narrator helps you to give it this impression, and they live their lives that way. But then something happens, as always in good stories, right? And then I'm not going to give any spoilers, but then you have to learn together with them how to create a new routine that is not on track anymore, and you have to question about being in the line or not to do what you dream or what you want, and being uncomfortable with that. It's not easy. It's not like naive. We tried. It's a very like sweet experience, but we try to not be very naive all the time. And then of course there is a payoff if you are willing to take risks.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So we think it's a good gateway for VR mainly for people that doesn't know how to use the technology, because it's a simple story. It's 15 minutes, but it's beautiful. It's very well done. Like the graphics, the cinematic aesthetic, it's there, and what is different that people have to interact and to move inside that story. This is something that I don't think people are very used to, and when they try to do the first interactions, they realize that they are living something that is completely new to them, and they don't need to be gamers to enjoy it. And of course, if you are a gamer, it's way more natural for you to interact with the piece. But our idea is to make it like a very good first experience in VR, or if you already are into VR but you love good stories, you of course enjoy it as well.
There you go, people. That's a brilliant explanation from the man behind the story as to what's going on with this. I think you guys have done an absolutely great job with it. And one of the things that I found kind of like really kind of cute and really leads into that. And I guess this is like a tiny spoiler, so cover your ears for 5 seconds. But you start
no problem.
You start the experience on the floor. Like seated on the floor, and it's like, okay, sit down, and when you do it, like, I don't know, it like immediately like breaks your like what you're doing, it's like it's almost like a reset button, and like pulls you in. And I can see how just that little step alone is enough to get people like immersed in a way that they typically aren't in experiences.
Yeah, man, I'm very happy that you're talking about it, because this was one of the things that we thought a lot. And I always, when I think in VR, even in games, and I think that the good games do that always, there is what I call separation stage, right? Because when you put a headset, you still are you, and you still are with your mind in the things in the physical world, in your real life problems, and it takes time to change the mindset, right? To let you feel completely present in that experience. And I like I'm kind of a nerd, as you guys can see.
Yeah, that's none of us are. None of us are nerds.
and in VR, when we were studying how to do VR, there were no books teaching that at the right. Still, there are not a lot, and we had to study like another disciplines to try to see how to relate things and make things work in VR. And I was studying this guy. It's an anthropologist. He's called Victor Turner, and he studied a lot of ritual processes, like in different tribes and religions and everything. And somehow I thought it was connected to VR because in this process usually are rituals of passage. So people that are in one stage in their lives and they have to go through this process, through this ritual to be transformed, right? So all religions, all tribes, all like a lot of times we do that in our lives. Even when you like go to college and when you finish it, you have this process of putting like the gall and then going there and everybody's together. And this guy created these three stages in this ritual process, which is called, the first one is the separation stage. Is the moment that this person, it makes clear for this person that it's he or she are not going to be the same person they were before, and they have to let it go, and then they have to go to nothing. They have to be like zero, and then inside the process they will be like embody this new personality, this new character, this new profession, job, or this new stage, like a marriage is something like that as well, right? And I think that every experience that is in first person in VR needs something like that, because if the action starts from the beginning, you will lose like some minutes trying to figure out who you are, what's happening with you, and things will be still a little bit confused in your head, and sometimes you will not get what it is about. And then when you understand everything and you realize what's happening, it's already too late. Mainly when you're talking about narrative experiences, right? Mm-hmm. So I tried to think in a way that make people like for 2 or 3 minutes stay in a very calm ambient, dark. So this is a very simple experience. And then we also study a lot how to make the emotions come from our bodies, right? Because we are not that used to think in our bodies to create emotions. But when you're a kid, you play on your room the whole time using your entire body, right? And you are on the floor, and then you get your cars, and then you get your toys, and you go in the bed, and then you go under the table, and then you come back, and then your mother yells you because you're climbing everything, and then you have to go. So mm-hmm. I think that mixing in this everything, so I think it's a longer answer that it should be, but I get excited to talk about it. But when we thought about everything together, we realized making everything dark and making people sit on the floor, we are telling people without saying a word, hey, this is an experience where you have to use your entire body. And then people will like in 1 minute people have to stand up and walk a little bit, and then people will know somehow that anything can happen to make their move, then they move inside this experience. And we think and we tested a lot through this time mm-hmm. since we launched it. Everybody realized that they have to in a moment crawl, and then they have to stand up again, and they have to change their level in the experience in a very natural way, because of this moment that in the beginning, before starting, you have to sit on the floor and wait a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm. So and it's funny, that just sounds like good game design.
And we thought it could be Sorry, man. Sorry.
I was gonna say that just sounds like good game design to me. You know, like as you're like talking about that, it reminds me of like Mega Man. You know, where they just like throw you into a wall and like you run into it, and like you just like it's very like intuitive how once you're just in the experience, it kind of just unfolds rather than a tutorial saying push A to do this. You know, and like all the text on the screen trying to kind of guide you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How you doing,
Yeah,
Skiba?
we had like the game. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm good. I'm just over here pushing buttons and making sure everything looks good. But no, I thought this experience was absolutely magical. Just absolutely magical. The graphics, the embodiment of the character, everything was just amazing, and I would absolutely recommend this.
I think people like it for the same reason that they like Pixar movies. It's visually stimulating, it's beautiful, it's colorful, it's relatable, and it leaves you with something after you've seen it or experienced it.
Yep, I agree.
It's a very nice compliment to hear, because it was definitely one of our inspirations, right? I think Pixar movies are films that everybody can enjoy in different layers, right? If you're a child, you understand in a way and you will love it, and if you are older, you also understand it and like it in a different way. So we try to do that somehow. Making in this fable format that it's a very simple story, it's a love story, but there is a deeper meaning on it, and learning that and hearing this meaning through your entire body, we thought could be new for people.
Yeah. What was it like to walk up on stage and receive an Emmy for something that you created in such a niche, smaller, because VR isn't as big as television, obviously, or movies, but to create such a powerful experience in a 6 degrees of freedom virtual reality experience, what was it like to walk up there and just be like one of the first people, right, to grab onto an Emmy and be like, oh, from a VR experience?
It was crazy because we had two moments like that, and they were completely different, right? Because first we had the Venice Film Festival, which is like the most glamorous things I ever been in my entire life. Like we had people like the actor who made the Joker, I forgot his name again, Joaquin Phoenix. He was like two rows in front of me, I couldn't believe my eyes. And then when they said my name and the line and I had to go there, the only thing I was thinking about, walk slow and don't fall, right? The entire industry is with you, man, so you cannot do that, right? And sounds and feels absolutely surreal. It's like a dream, because it's the kind of thing that you always think when you're taking a shower and you grab the shampoo and think how to receive an award like that, and you make a speech in the shower, right? And suddenly I was having to do that for real, right? So it was completely crazy, and takes some time to realize what's happening for real, right? Sometimes just feels like a dream or something that it's going to vanish when you wake up, something like that. But then after that we had the Emmys, and the Emmys was already during the pandemic. And there were no actual ceremony last year, and we were also stuck here in Brazil because we are in Brazil. So suddenly we received the news that congratulations you guys, and I was actually cooking. It was Sunday afternoon, and I was cooking, and I was doing my meal for the weekend, because this is what regular people do, right? And then I had a video call from my business partners, and we were the four of us crying and yelling at the same time, and I was turning off the heat because I didn't want to burn my food, and I wanted to jump and yell in my home, and then we were in that crazy stage for 15 minutes, and then I hang up the phone call. I said, okay, so I have to finish my meal. And then I went back to reality, but I couldn't stop thinking about what was happening. And then 2 or 3 days later, we had to record a video receiving the prize, doing the speech, right? And then we asked the whole team to record thank you, because we had just 15 seconds for the whole speech. And then we did the video, and it was crazy because we put some beautiful clothes to make the video and everything, but we were here, and then it was in different little pieces, right? And then some 2 weeks later, I think there was the ceremony, but it was everything online, right? So everybody just sent videos, and we were like watching from homes, and then we could see big names like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, that he won the same category as us. Like there was 2 awards for, and then there was him, and after them there was us in the same screen, in the same TV, like 15 seconds after it. It's like, oh my God, is this real? Is this happening? And then after that, like 4 months later, the prize arrived. And then I could open a box and get my Emmy with my name on it, and then I made an unbox video. I can send you guys, so you guys can put the link, because we made a video because we have to make an unboxing of an Emmy. It never happens, right?
Yeah. I'll just we'll do it on the next Emmy that comes. That's awesome.
So it was very completely different emotions, right? Being a big ceremony and doing a speech and having this other context completely different than that we had in this crazy year that we all lived.
God damn, dude, that's awesome. Well, it's so cool to have, you know, seen the progression, you know, and I mean, I haven't been there since the beginning, but you know, watching it go from, you know, meeting you guys in VRLA, What's the Quest, you know, Pixel Rip 1989 is the thing, all the way to multiple awards on the desk, Pixel Rip 1995 being out, the line being acclaimed, and you know, now you're here on our show talking about it. It's just amazing to watch all this stuff unfold, dude. It's really, really dope.
Yeah. Who are some of you, I mean, this is kind of a maybe personal question, but who are some of your influences that really like inspired you to create the type of content that you're making right now?
It's a very nice question. I think when you're talking about art and creativity, it's impossible to not be impersonal, right? Because if you're doing art, you're doing something that it's you, somehow, right? For this experience, there were a lot of good influences, I think. The first of them is my father and my mother, because they lived in São Paulo in the 40s, and like the first thing you do is opening a photo album. That photo album is my father's photo album. It's exactly the same design, and we had the piece really like that. Nice. And we photographed it. So, and even São Paulo is it's like the Brazilian New York. To give you guys like an example, like it's not the most famous. Like Rio would be Los Angeles, and São Paulo would be New York, right?
Gotcha.
And my father was born here. My grandfather was born here, but it's a city of immigrants. So almost no one has like fathers or grandfathers that were born in São Paulo. So my family's history and my history is like mixed with the city. So the places that I go are places that remember like times in my life with my father or with my grandfathers, and we try to have that not only with me but the whole team. We have like small neighborhoods in the scale model. All of them relate somehow to personal things for people in the team and myself. So our personal history, I think, for the line was a good influence, a big influence. But besides that, one of the first ones that I was thinking when we were talking what would be the line was Hugo, the film by Martin Scorsese. Hugo. I don't know how to say it in a American accent.
I think it's Hugo.
You know, Hugo Cabret. Hugo, yeah.
Hugo.
So this film, like, if you think about the color palette of the film, like the color and the mood of the line, it relates a lot with Hugo. So, and it's also a story that it can be, because I was watching or reading an interview of Scorsese, and he said that he realized that he had a small kid that now is bigger, and she's already an actress, but at the time she was a kid, and she couldn't see any movie that he did in his entire life. So he was one of the biggest directors of all time, but he couldn't show one movie for his daughter because everything was super violent and everything. So he decided to create a film that could be an Scorsese movie, but at the same time he could show to his daughter. And this was like a thing that I got very inspired by, like how to create a story that can be very beautiful and touching and nice for kids, but also move and not being like silly for an adult, right? For someone that's more mature. For the character Pedro, I am very like passionate about the beginning of the industry of films. That's why I think I work in the beginning of the industry of VR. And I was very inspired by Buster Keaton. And Buster Keaton, he was like at the time like a rival of Charlie Chaplin, right? And he was known of because he has just the same face the whole time. He didn't change a muscle of his face the whole time. And he was very funny because of it, because he was in a very like dangerous or crazy or funny situation, but his face was the same the whole time. But despite that, because of his body expression, you could understand the whole time what he was feeling. So and you could relate to him. And I always loved his short movies and his films. And I always talk to the guys, I think he is our inspiration, because our character is a wooden character, and we are not going to make a traditional animation, but we have to make people understand what he is feeling the whole time and what she is feeling the whole time. And I think this beginning of the films industry, I think can be a very nice inspiration for us in VR, because even with Quest, we have so much limitations because of processor power, that we have to be smart in where to spend our energies. And if we think in the beginning of the industry of the video games, or even in the beginning of the movies industries, these guys were like genius in creating emotions with just a little, right? Because they have so much limitations at the time. And I think, and to finish, we had also the Brazilian music called chorinho, which is a Brazilian rhythm that was very famous in the 40s. And we wanted to have Brazil present in the experience, but not as a movie like Rio, or not about like talking about soccer, not in a way that it's almost like a caricature of the country. We want to be in a very natural way, like, because here in Brazil, when we see a love story, for us, we know that's going to be in LA, New York, Paris or London probably, and that's it. Even for us, when we see a movie in a love story in Brazil, it's kind of weird, because it's not the regular thing that we are used, because the industry was built in these cities, in these scenarios, right? And then we said, no, this is going to be a very simple story. It's not a story about Brazil. Let's show soccer, samba, jungle, and things like that. And why not putting Brazilian places and Brazilian music in a natural way that will have like this familiar kind of story, but with these different flavors, these different smells, these different like subtle things that will create this different feeling, but not that different as if it's something exotic, right? And we think if we are in this beginning of this industry, why not making people get used to different landscapes for regular stories? And then we wanted to have these layers that they are not the protagonists. We are not talking about Brazil at all, but we are showing people, hey, there are different sounds, there are different places, there are different landscapes that you can get used to see regular stories.
I love that. You know, I think that is a much better approach than a lot of the like forced inclusivity that we see in media. You know, like I feel like there's such and I mean, maybe I'm going off the deep end here, but I just feel like there's a lot of forced inclusivity that I see in movies, music, games, things like that. And to your point, almost make a caricature, make too big of a deal out of the fact that we're making it in Brazil, you know, like just taking a nice, soft, natural approach, you know, like, hey, guess what? This isn't a huge deal. This just happens to be where the story's set. We're using authentic things from that area. Like, I think that is a really good approach. So I did want to,
I think it's good.
Yeah, so do I. And I wanted to kind of circle back on something we were talking about when we were talking about the embodiment thing, right? How by sitting on the floor, you basically are like helping transcend, right? And helping people embody their new virtual avatar, the virtual self, I guess. And one of the things that I don't have a lot of experience with, and I kind of wanted to ask what your thoughts are on it, is full body tracking. Because one of the things that I've seen with full body tracking is the fact that people get like addicted to it, and they will go into VR with full body tracking and just be blown away by the fact that they're like looking down and seeing their legs. And by giving them that body presence, it like makes them feel like they're truly present. Like how often during your normal daily life do you look down at your legs and say, oh my God, I have legs. I'm here. But if you're in full body tracking, people do that, and they get addicted to that feeling. So anyway, I'm curious what your thoughts are on full body tracking and further thoughts on embodiment in VR.
It's a very cool question, and I never. It's a good thing to compare, like looking your legs in real life and being excited. But I think for me, there's a guy that it's I consider. And I don't know, probably you guys know Jaron Lanier, the guy who invented VR, right? So he's my Yoda, right? Yoda, my Yoda master. So everything he says, I like, okay. And there is this other guy that it's called Mel Slater, that's from the same time began to study VR in the 70s, and he's in I think Barcelona in a university still today, like studying it. And he's my Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? and there is a paper in a presentation that he talks about the difference between presence and immersion. Because when we talk about VR, we always talk about immersion. And he says, and I agree because he's saying it, that immersion is something objective and happens all the time, but it doesn't like depend on you. Like if you take like a blanket and put it around you, you are immersed on it, but is it good? No, right? And but presence, it's a human response to immersion. And then this is actually, for me, this is like the holy grail. It's not an immersion, it's the feeling of presence. When you feel that you're present, doesn't matter if it's doing VR or reading a book, the experience is always magical, right? And this happens when the creator of this experience, no matter which device, it's so good that makes you feel that you are inside of it because of the craft, right, of creating this experience. So when you have these devices like full body tracking, I think that the thing that makes it so magical, that makes you understand that you're present there more, right? Because we can abstract things. So when you go in a VR chat and you just see your hands and that's it, and if you're doing something interesting there, you realize you feel that you are present, and it's okay. But when you see your entire body and it's like, oh my God, like I think it makes it easier to makes you feel present in experience when you are seeing your body there for like entire body, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why I think it's so magical. And then we're talking about expression, right? Because you know that you are expressing yourself in a way bigger way than if you were just using hands and your head and your mouth, right? I think expressing you with your body and knowing that people are going to see and react to it, I think it's exciting, right? And in a way that like the avatars are not that good yet, that you know that people are not understanding you in the way that you wanted them to understand. Because sometimes, like we that use a lot VR, we know that there is a lot of confusion because you are trying to be funny and people think you're being sarcastic or things like that because they cannot see your face. They just listen to your voice and some like puppet, right? Having your entire body to express yourself, I think it's kind of magical. So I think that's why it's making people get so excited about it.
You know, this is where I see the true potential of virtual reality. Like this, and this is where like the whole between realities idea comes from, because like all right, let me start with like Animal Crossing, okay? Animal Crossing, not VR game, but it's a video game. And in Animal Crossing, you have a little house, you collect items and you decorate your house and you start putting shit on walls and you make sure the carpet matches and you put furniture around. And I spent a lot of time playing Animal Crossing. So much time that I fully decorated every single room in my house. I put themes to each room. I'm like putting up posters and walls and pictures and shit. And eventually, after, I don't know, a year or two, I looked up and I looked at all my walls in my house and I was like, there's nothing on these, you know, like I haven't decorated my own fucking house. And it almost inspired me and got me thinking about decorating, and maybe I should put something on that wall, because I put something on the wall in Animal Crossing, you know what I mean? So this is what's exciting to me, because apply that line of thinking to full body tracking presence. Like I was just saying, people looking down, seeing their legs and realizing that they're there. What if VR can be used as a way to make people realize that they're fucking alive, and then eventually they pull off the headset and they have this self-awareness that they never ever had before, and they realize that they're alive and kicking, you know what I mean? Like, do you see where I'm going with this?
Oh man, I love that. I totally agree. And General Lanier always says that the magic of VR doesn't happen when you put on the headset. It happens when you put it off and look again the real life and the physical world and compare it with what you were seeing before. So this is exactly what you are saying, and I'm 100% with you, man. I think VR can be very transformative and amazing because of it, because can make us remember how who we are, like in the physical world, and how we live our lives. And I'm excited mostly because of it,
dude. And the crazy thing, and this is another thing you touched on earlier, is that we're actually experiencing multiple realities simultaneously when we use VR. You know, you're in the room, you're in the hotel room at OC6, and you're in the line pulling on levers and stuff, and you're existing in both of those things simultaneously. Well, this is just the beginning. You know, what if we can stack up those experiences, and all of a sudden you're existing in 4 or 5, 6 realities at one time and able to perceive what's happened on all of them? You know, like, I see the potential of this technology just fucking exploding beyond like our ability to comprehend. You know, like, I do think that this could be a part of our evolution as far as what it even means to be human and experience reality as a whole.
Yeah, I have this crazy theory, like it's not like something that I read or something, but that, like, since the invention of writing, we always kept the knowledge trapped in rectangles. You know, the books, the photographs, the paintings, the theater, the movies, right? The computers, the smartphones. Every time you are dealing with information and exchanging information, you have like the board on the classroom, right? It's always trapped in a plane, and a rectangle plane, right? And that, I think, in the last century made us forget that we live in a world that is tridimensional, and when we have to think, we have to be seated, and we have to be looking at a rectangle. And then we forget who we are with our bodies, right? We just, even like to think, I have to throw my body away. I think this is the notion that we learned through this entire, like, century before us, and 2 centuries probably, since, I think, the Industrial Revolution. And I think what makes VR and XR, so amazing, that we are putting the body back in the center of the intellectual activities, and we can interact with the world, with the information, with the others, with our past, with ourselves, moving again. And remember that we have legs, as you said, because for like years and years and years working in movies, for example, because I did movies for 15 years, I never stopped to think that I had a leg, that I had arms, that I could move, because when I was working, I was seated, and when I was watching what was my work, I was seated, you know. And I'm not saying that I hate this. I still love it. I love playing video games with buttons, and I played video games since I was a kid, and I will always do that. And I loved watching films and movies and everything. But I think this cannot be everything. we have to come back. That's why when we do things with our bodies, we feel we are alive, and that's why VR makes that. I think that's an expected side effect of VR. When people think of VR, they always thinking about you being alone in a small room. But people that don't realize that you have to move to make VR. And that's already completely different from watching a film, And then you get tired doing VR, right? And this is something that people can watch a TV for 24 hours not getting tired. But that's because VR makes people remember that they have bodies and they are alive. They are people, living creature.
Amen.
Right?
I want to hear from Skiva.
VR, I think it's the only...
Skiva, how you doing, dude?
I'm good, man. I'm kind of looking at the chat over here. We got some awesome people in here, man. We got Gamertag VR in the house. We got Mateo in the house. Jensen Fox. We got Smash Drums. But let me tell you, yesterday I beat the crap out of some drums for a long time, and I had a really, really good time feeling like I was a rock star. And then afterwards, I went into Population 1 and I was trying to climb. Oh my God, my arms were just like, but dude, so much fun. That game, there's a demo for this game out there and you need to go check it out. It's super, super fun. It's Beat Saber-ish, right? In the fact that like there's things coming at you and you hit things to the beat, but it's, you really feel like a rock star. So anyway, thanks for being here, Smash Jumps. It's really cool. We got VR Central in the house. We get Delirium Drew,
dude,
the Bearded Bart. There's so
Grumpy
many awesome
Duck.
people in
We got
here.
a lot of homies. Thank you guys all for joining us. And I guess the Smash Drums thing kind of reinforces the whole why your body's important. You know what I mean? It's like it's so much more of a profound experience when you're able to connect your body to everything that's happening, you know.
It is, and I need, I want to find a way. Well, I know there's plenty of ways, but I really want to get motivated to use VR to improve this avatar, right? Because this avatar is getting a little thick. You know what I'm saying? So I think here soon, actually, me and you will be doing like a fitness challenge when we start the 4th season, which is only, man, this is the second. Is this the third to last episode of this season?
Yeah,
right.
We're almost done.
And then we are, and we got awesome guests coming up, but we have such an amazing potential in season 4, and we have so many people that have shown interest, and I think season 4 is going to be even better than this one. I mean, so it's really good stuff. But I do want to get on that fitness thing, and maybe you guys can help hold us accountable, especially me, because this avatar needs a little work.
Yeah, we'll do it. Well, maybe season 4 will be like the season of like Swole in VR or something like that, and we'll just like go ham, and like every episode we'll touch base with everybody, see how everybody's doing. We can get our community revved up in it. I know Ricardo Laganaro is no stranger to sweating in VR. I remember a while ago thinking like how eager I was to smash your scores in Beat Saber, but I'm not sure that I'm able to compare my scores with yours right now. I don't know if we're friends on Oculus, but I know you've done some fitness in VR for your own self, haven't you, Ricardo?
Yeah, I did a little bit in the beginning, like everyone. I got completely addicted with Saber, right? But after that, when I was in the middle of the pandemic, which we are still here in Brazil, but in the beginning when we have like everybody in quarantine, and I lived alone, right? It was crazy because I was like 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months alone at home. And I was getting crazy, and then I began to play table tennis and Racquetball in VR with
games.
friends, and it was like and it was like magical because I stopped work, and then I had to put like my fitness clothes, and then I put the headset, and I was like inside this crazy gymnasium, and I had the same feeling that I had before the pandemic, that going play with friends, and then we could stay like for 30 minutes just talking to each other like as crazy robots, and then let's play now, okay, let's play now, and then play for like 40 minutes and completely like sweat, and then I had a good workout with a good friend, and now I can go back home, and then I took the headset off, and then I just took a shower. So I think wow, for the moments that we were now, and that's why like apps like Supernatural and everything are making VR mainstream, right? It's one of the reasons. But I don't want to I don't like to reduce like the thing that the embodied things in VR just for fitness. I think having experience that are stories and regular games, that it just makes you move in a smart way, not like crazy and having to be an athlete, are also, or even creating VR. Like we are doing prototypes at Arvory for the new games, spatial prototypes. Even our boards now are 3D, because we don't have to be in a whiteboard in a room. We can create and sketch things spatially, right? So I think this can, we are just in the beginning, the tip of the iceberg, and of course fitness is great, and I love it as well, but it's just one thing that helps us push a lot of other things that will make us with our bodies.
Speaking of Racket NX, man, you want to talk about a game that's just completely underrated. So I know a lot of people out there like Racquetball because it's fun, right? You smack the ball up against the wall, your friend's gonna go retrieve it and smack it up against the wall. But this game is like Racquetball in like 1,000 years, like what you might expect it to be, right, in the future. And it's so good, man. Like, you really move your body, you're swinging, you're really trying to nail this thing and be accurate with your shots. And I'm not exactly sure why more people aren't playing this game, because it's one of the hidden gems. There's a native quest build as well, and it runs amazing. You know, one of the really good things about this game is they nailed spatial audio. Like, they crushed it, man. Right. Like, yeah, you hit this ball and sometimes it'll get sucked through a portal and it'll come out behind you, and you know exactly where that thing is because the spatial audio is killer. Mwah. It's really, really good. So I think this game needs a little bit more love. Have you played this at all, Alex?
Dude, I played it like one time and was like, and then moved on, which is weird because I actually have played like countless hours of real racquetball. Like, I love real racquetball, and I'm pretty fucking good at it too.
Wow. How about multiplayer? Because this does have a multiplayer option where there's two of you in there and you're both.
That's what I need. You know, that's what I need. I need to hit up Ricardo and get in there, or hit up you, I guess, right? Sure, you can show me the ropes, Skiva.
Yeah, either way.
I want Ricardo for that multiplayer Beat Saber, because I just want to destroy him, because I feel like in the early days he was saying that wasn't going to happen. He was like, all right, yeah, let's go everybody, and you were like saying that you were putting up good scores, so I just want to make sure I'm
trying to dodge this bullet because I'm completely out of shape in Beat Saber now. So you are going to like destroy me, yes, but I can practice a little bit before, and then we could do that.
Yeah, that sounds good. Go ahead and practice before, but I promise you, there will be no escape from your demise. Jeez, sorry.
Well, that got dark.
Okay, man.
That got dark.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. Well, I guess I do need to try Racket NX because I love racquetball, and hearing you guys, two of my favorite dudes, talk about how good it is, like, I must have missed something.
It is really good, dude, and especially I feel like if you have that, like, it's weird because you said you like racquetball and you're really good at it, so this really scratched that racquetball itch for me, you know what I mean? And you only need one controller. Your other hand, you can totally just put it down.
That's nice. It's always kind of like a nice little breath of fresh air when you can play a game and they're like, you just need one. You can put the other one down, and it
is nice. I'm not exactly sure why, especially with shooting games, right? Because with shooting games, a lot of times you want to hold the gun with your other hand as well, and so it's
like pistol whip. Pistol whip gives it to you.
Yeah, absolutely. But really, really good game. And 11 table tennis. I feel like that game is very underrated as well. The mechanics are so good. The physics in the world are so good. The graphics are clean and crisp. And now runs at 120 frames a second. Great, absolutely great game. So.
I love table tennis in real life. I always played, and it's as you said, the physics are very nice. So it's of course not exactly the same, but I could have the same feeling. And I had some friend, like my business partner, in the beginning of the pandemic, he was coming back from LA, so he had to be in quarantine for 40 days in a hotel alone, and then every night after work we played like for an hour at least, and it was like I have very good memories from that time. You know, like it was very cool. It's Edward. You know him, right, Alex?
Yeah.
So I really love this game as well.
And man, it is good. And you know, the main, you know, one of the things that makes it so that I like it more than the actual table tennis is, you know, I'm not that great at table tennis, so the ball goes by me a lot and I don't have to go get it.
That's huge. That's huge.
Yeah, this is
it really
amazing.
is. Instead of chasing half the game, chasing the ball around the room, trying to find it, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's great. You just hit a button, it appears right back there in your hand again, and you are ready to rock and roll.
You know, I will say though, I don't think I don't think 11 table tennis is underrated. I feel like everybody says that game is amazing. You know, like
yeah, but I don't. It's very rare that I'm talking to someone and they're like, "Oh yeah, I have 11 table tennis. Let's play." You know, it's always something else.
Yeah, but, well, it is definitely the game to have for table tennis. I've tried multiple. You know, I've accidentally bought Racket Fury multiple times, thinking it was multiplayer, cross-platform.
Yeah,
me too.
Son of a bitch.
Man, you know what's cool is since not to kind of go off the topic here, but we know that we have games like larger scale games. Like Echo, not Echo. I'm sorry. Space Pirate Arena, right, where you actually run around and you're in a gymnasium or whatever with your friends. But one of the issues was that the play space that Oculus Quest supports is only 10 meters by 10 meters. And that's a lot until you're actually running around in a room.
Right.
Like, you know, booking it around corners and shooting your friends. And I guess you're not really supposed to run in this game, but come on. Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, now Oculus is going to be extending the size of the play area to 15 by 15 meters. And if you're in the States, that's about 50 feet by 50 feet. So that's a giant space. And within that space, you can also track desks and couches. And it's also rumored that there will be inclusion detection in this build as well. So if anything larger than a human hand comes into the spot, it will kind of either bring it into the real world or somehow alert you to it. But it's really cool to see spatial computing utilize more space, right? And to understand what's happening within the space, because it's not just tracking that space, but it's tracking everything in it as well. So I think this is super exciting, because as the pandemic fades away, hopefully into the distance, and we are able to spend more time with people in real life, I want to be able to rent big spaces, whether it be a gymnasium, a basketball court, something, and just go in there with friends, 4 people, and run around and not be bumping into each other. I think that's going to be absolutely huge.
Dude,
so,
I would have used, I could have used this extra space at a Game On Expo.
Yeah.
Because we were at this convention and it was like, it's like a medium-sized convention. So if you go into the hallways, depending on where you go, you could have a huge, completely empty hallway, which we did. And I went out there and I was letting people play T for God, and I was actually like doing like some speed running in T for God too. And if you've never played T for God, it is super awesome. So it is procedurally generated within your play space, and it creates infinite tunnels and corridors for you to move in. So you could walk in a circle infinitely and not see the same corridor twice. Like it's so fucking cool how it works. But I was like running around in that space, and I was actually a little bit surprised when I realized that I was only using like a third of that hallway space. Like I would have used that whole fucking thing if I could have, so I actually do think that this is going to be a welcome change.
I think we'll be able to now, you know what I mean? Like as soon as this comes out, we're gonna do some cool stuff, and we'll film it, but and Game On Expo, hopefully that will be coming back, right? And when it does, Between Realities, if you're in the Phoenix area, Between Realities is going to have a huge virtual reality.
We got to get people to Phoenix.
Really big.
You're coming to Phoenix for this, people.
Yeah, you really should. I mean, when we did it 2 years ago,
Really?
we had, when we did it 2 years ago, we had a giant space, and we put hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people,
Literally hundreds of people,
through their first VR experiences. Anything from Beat Saber to Richie's Plank experience to just all kinds of cool things, PlayStation VR experiences. I mean, and this time I think they're gonna double our space.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have some killer stuff like mixed reality setups where people can bring home footage of themselves in the games and like just all kinds of really cool stuff. So hopefully when that does come back, we'll provide a date and all that stuff, and maybe we'll see some people there. That'd be super cool.
You know, Ricardo, I've actually kind of been wondering as we've been talking about games and stuff. Have you been finding any time to enjoy VR for yourself lately? You know, and if you have, what's kind of your go-to right now if you're going to put the headset on?
Yes. Not always, because we're working a lot, but to be honest, like I am Tribeca is happening now, right? Tribeca Film Festival.
Yep.
So the thing that I'm watching the most now is Experience Inside Museum of Other Realities, which is not a game, but it's a very different place that it's cool to test as well. But besides that, like Demio, right? Demio is the game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I've been playing for the last month. Like when I tried the first time, I said, "Oh my god, I can't believe those guys did that." It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect, right? And I have to think more, right? But I think if you get like the last couple of months, I'm doing mostly Demio and this. I play a lot of indie games, but for flat screen, to study specific things that we can try to adapt to VR. Like right. I've been playing a lot Hades. That's a game that everybody loves, right?
I haven't played that game, but I feel like I need to scoop it up.
No, it's unbelievably good. Yeah, you should try it.
Man, Demio is really something else. Like I was playing that.
I also played it a lot. No, go ahead, please.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying that the Demio is just so fantastic, and it's such a good way to bond with your friends and really connect with people. As with 2, 3, or 4 of you are standing around this table, crawling through this dungeon and making all of these decisions together and trying to stay alive. It's really. I think it's a really special game. I think. People, I've heard a lot of people that are like, I don't know how to play Dungeons and Dragons. Well, you don't have to, right? This does it all for you.
That's the cool thing.
All you do is roll the dice and then move your character and plan accordingly with your team. You don't really have to know how any of that stuff works. And just for the multiplayer experience alone, just adds so much to it. Just being able to strategize with your friends, and they did a fantastic job. Also, you can kind of lay down with this game, and you can tilt the table up and get it like right in your face, and like so you can kind of relax while you play this game too. You don't have to be standing up flailing your arms around looking on the barrel of a gun. Yeah, it's really a special experience. I really like it.
And there is another one that I was trying in the beginning of the year that I played a lot with the guys from Arvory, but they are too good for me, which is Star Wars Squadrons, right?
Ooh, yeah.
It's Star Wars Squadron, like being able to like pilot a Star Wars ship. It's a dream since we were kids, right?
Yes.
So being there in a TIE fighter or in an X-Wing, it's like, come on, I can't believe that I'm inside. I can even like imagine how it is to play in a regular screen, like in a flat screen. For me, this game should be like forbidden for flat screens.
I totally agree.
You have to play it in VR.
Yes. I really do agree with that, because like to be inside of a TIE fighter or inside of an X-Wing, right? And this also supports HOTAS controls, which is a flight stick, right? So if you have one of those, you can kind of set it right where the flight stick is in the ship, and you are flying around an X-Wing, and you are shooting at, like, you can bring your friends in. One can be a TIE fighter, some can be a TIE bomber, and it's all of the ships that we drooled over in those movies as children. You get in them and you have epic dogfights in space. It's really, really cool. And the first player mission stuff is fantastic too, because you're going up against Star Destroyers and just all of these really cool things that are happening.
I think
and
this is free for PS Plus owners right now.
It is actually.
If you're a PS Plus owner, PlayStation VR owner, you can get this game for free right now.
Yeah, definitely grab this game. Fire up that PSVR. If it's collecting some dust lately, I don't know, but this is a good reason to get back into that game. And if you have a flight stick, this is flight sticks in VR, super immersive, because you're actually reaching out with your hand and grabbing the stick that you see in the game, and it really brings a new level of immersion. So I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
So it's cool. Were you playing this a lot? You said you were playing this with your friends multiplayer, yeah?
Yeah, the guys from Marvory, like, they were all Star Wars crazy guys, and but they all have like the sticks, and I don't have, because I had the wheels for playing like car games, but I don't have for the ships. So before Star Wars, I wasn't into this kind of. So they are way better than me, and I got like tired of being killed all the time. But then like doing the single player mission, it's already like a dream. And playing with the guys sometimes when we play it as teams, but they are in another level, so I moved for other games. And
can flat screen gamers?
Sometimes you have a phase that you like more one game.
Can the flat screen gamers play with the VR gamers in multiplayer?
Yep.
This is something else that Dino is working on. Anyone who does this, in my opinion, is like the unsung fucking heroes of VR multiplayer gaming right now. Like, it is so awesome to be able to connect flat screen gamers to virtual reality gamers into the same world, that it opens up so many doors for connection, so many opportunities for new VR owners. Like, people out there who are doing this shit are so awesome.
And you know what, like in Squadrons, it's amazing because you have so much advantage when you play in VR that the guys get pissed because they are like being kicked out because they are not in VR. So it's a great excuse to buy a headset then. Right, so why you play so well? Because I'm in VR, right? So this for our industry and our like community, I think it's amazing.
Yeah,
I think so too. And another game that does this really well with flat screen versus VR is No Man's Sky, which is an absolutely massive game. And it's to be able to hop in with all kinds of my friends, right, that PlayStation, Xbox, VR users, and really be able to go in there and like and all play together. I mean, it's just so cool.
This is also why Rec Room has such huge fucking numbers, because they allow people to connect across platforms like that. It's so huge.
Yeah. But No Man's Sky for me is the game. And I know you guys hear me talk about that all the time, but like, when I was a little kid, I just dreamed about having my own spaceship and being able to take off and say, and just run around, explore planets and wildlife and go into cave systems and go fly through meteor showers and storms. And like, oh my God, this just scratches like every itch that I've ever wanted out of a game. This game is just phenomenal. So I just wanted to bring that up because of the cross-platforming flat verse, you know what I mean? It's such a big thing. It's such a big deal.
Yeah, it's huge. And, it's not only just like tactical advantages, right? Which of course is huge. Being able to look over my shoulder and see something, to get better at the game is one thing. But, I've played multiple games where I have paid real life cold hard cash for shit like emotes. So like it looks like my avatar is dancing, you're paying for an emote. But in VR, like if I'm playing Rec Room with you and you're on a flat screen and I'm in VR and all of a sudden I'm like doing the fucking worm or the wave or whatever with my hands, you see how little expression you have compared to me, like you're seeing me so expressive with my movements and my head bobbling and I'm laughing and I'm having so much fun. And meanwhile, you're like, like stuck to this like two-dimensional plane, and I think that it just people witnessing stuff like that, like I would see somebody use an emote on a static avatar and want it. Imagine seeing somebody in VR in a social experience that you're stuck to a flat screen for. Like, I think it's huge.
Yeah. It definitely is.
Definitely.
And being, and like the Xbox and PlayStation people being able to join in too is big. Right? Just such a huge thing.
Hussein X in the house. What's up, dude? Good to see you there, dude. And Sean from Rendered Reality dropping in here as well.
What's up, Sean? Sean's such an amazing guy. He reached out to me yesterday, just to say hi. Hey, I was thinking about you. That's such an amazing guy. Go over to Coffee and VR, Rendered Reality, and subscribe. What an amazing show.
Yeah, go over to Rendered Reality and show up to it an hour late. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Go and show up to their show an hour late because apparently that's what we do here.
Well, he does come in while he's trying to work. So come on. We love you, Sean. Yeah, we really do.
Just breaking your balls, buddy.
Oh, there's another game that is coming out that I really wanted to get your opinion on, Alex. This is a game called Everslot. And yeah, let me put this full screen for everyone to see here. This is a dungeon crawler that came out of nowhere, man. No one knew that this was in development, and it looks really, really good. Ooh. Yeah, it looks pretty killer.
I like that pistol in the left hand and sword in the right hand, just blasting and slashing.
Yeah, it looks very, very fast paced. There's a grapple hook that you can use to pull yourself around too. There's a lot of really cool elements in this that just seem like it's going to be a really beautiful game. Just looking at this footage, it just looks gorgeous.
Yeah,
like I'm really excited about this.
Wow.
So.
Well, I mean, it looks like the foundation's there.
Yeah,
and,
it does.
And that really is like, this is typically like my thing with these kinds of games. It's like the foundation can be awesome, but like, is it a game though? And like, how gamey is it? And like, can I sink my teeth into it? Because I personally can only go so far, like just murdering. Like I'll murder stuff for a few minutes, and then I'm like, okay, that was fun, but that's good. I'll go do something else now. So if it'll I guess it'll just kind of depend on some of the game mechanics. The VR mechanics look like they're on point there.
Yeah, well, we will be hopefully finding out, because this game is supposed to launch this month.
Damn.
Yeah, I know, right? Not on Quest, unfortunately, not yet, but it will be launching this month on PC VR.
So what this looks like that I just tried for the first time today that is on Quest. It's actually free on SideQuest right now, and it's called what's it called? Like
Ancient Dungeons?
No, it's like Battle Tactics or some shit like that. BMF just did a video on it.
Oh, interesting. Battle Tactics. So I mean, that reminds me of a game called Brass Tactics that I really enjoy.
It's called Battle Talent.
Oh, okay.
So Battle Talent looks just like that. It's like the guy has a gun in his left hand, a sword in his right hand. He's pushing through dungeony areas. I think it's more wave based, if I'm not mistaken, kind of like a Blade and Sorcery.
Oh, okay.
It looks very much like Blade and Sorcery, but natively on the Quest for free on SideQuest right now. And I played it this morning, and it's pretty fucking good, to be honest.
It looks like it's also on Steam.
Yeah, it's coming to Steam. I think it's like early access right now on Steam.
Oh, and there's a demo as well.
But I played the SideQuest one today, and it looks good. Like the character models of the enemies look great. It's a little easier than Blade and Sorcery, if that makes any sense. Like on Blade and Sorcery, your swings really got to be good to make a good connection. They still have to be good, but not quite as good. I was just double gripping the sword, and before I knew it, I found a pretty good flow, and I was just ripping through everything. But I only played like the first level or two, so I'm sure the difficulty ramps up. But anyway, this is
a co-op or anything in this? Do you know?
Not that I could tell.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, but like as far as like the physics of the weapons go, like how it feels when you grab on, you can like take it and throw it and flip it. And it actually feels better to take it and throw and flip than any of the other games that I've done it with. It's assisted, it feels like it's helping me, but in a good way. It's like, okay, thank you. Like,
it makes you feel like a badass.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, nice. Totally. So anyway, this is perfect for Quest owners. Like Battle Talent, it's just sitting there on SideQuest. No reason not to get it. And if you want that Blade and Sorcery experience, it's there.
Cool. Very cool. Man, I love SideQuest, and I hope they continue to be amazing.
So I know Arvory Immersive Experience has been busy cranking out some VR stuff, and lately there's been some promotional materials for Yuki coming out. Are you at all involved in the Yuki project?
Just a little. Like I'm head of like the content side of the company, so I'm always like discussing and talking with the directors of the pieces to try to help it. And we have like also like the narrative of the experience, the guys that are working on it. I always exchange a lot with them to try to make it like the characters, the world more like interesting. But I do a lot of user testing and,
Nice.
and do my reports internally, right? But man, I'm super excited about Yuki. Like Kako is the guy who made the art direction, right? The production design of the line. So he knows how to make things beautiful. And then together with him we have the whole team and a game designer that pushed like the game play of the experience. And it's I don't want to like enhance the expectations because sometimes it's not that good, right? But like we I think we reached a level like mixing like bullet hell and roguelite in VR, right? We call it roguelites because it's not like a roguelike, but you guys know the difference.
Yes.
Is it mine that is making this noise? Is my computer?
Yeah, it is. And if you could fix that, Ricardo, that would really be nice.
Don't worry about it. Just a Discord thing.
I'll try to do my best, man.
Just teasing.
But
The Yuki looks really
having
cool.
this roguelike aspect, like, sorry.
Oh, I said Yuki looks really cool. It kind of brings me back to the like the bullet hell shooters, right? Where you're flying like a plane or something. There's just you're trying to avoid all of the bullets everywhere as well as taking out the enemies. So it looks really, really cool. Looks amazing. Beautiful.
Yeah, and after you play it for a while, you get like into the zone. You have the flow, and then you feel that you are there, and you are like holding Yuki and helping her like through this mission, and then you can change the weapons, like her like I don't want to tell a lot of things. I don't know even if I can, but but you can change the way you play during the experience, right? Because you have different ways to interact with the enemies, and I think it's the longest game we did it at Arvory, right? And I think it also has potential to expansion. So we will launch it with some extensions already planned to be launched, like in the sequence months that we'll have. And I don't know, I think I can't wait to see it like online and people reacting to it, but I think it's the game with more, how do you say, like it's more oriented for gamers that want to have a game that can like lose their tracks there, and like and stay for hours and hours inside of it.
Nice. I feel like this is like this game launching almost like marks like I don't know, it's like almost like a milestone for me a little bit, because when I was at OC6 I got to play the demo of Yuki in that like developer conference hotel party, and it was so fucking crazy. Like it was a room the size of the Between Reality spaceship here that was like stuffed with VR demos. Like people were elbow to elbow with VR headsets on in this place, and like of the beer in the other hand, and like shouting in each other's ears over here. Like it was a super intimate, awesome experience. But I tried Yuki there, like bumping my hands into a table that the monitor was set up on, and at that time the whole like spirit of the game did not exist. It, like the colors and like the essence and the character that you see in that trailer was not there, and it was also connected to your head. So I was using my head to avoid and move, dodge all the bullets, but they eventually took it off the head and put it into your hand, because it's like you are the kid holding his toy and like using his imagination to like like do that. And I thought that was brilliant. Like it for me, it like ramped the hype level, and I think that speaks to like the power of like a good narrative and like a good story and like a good like essence of like the world and the lore, because just that can really enhance the experience quite a bit.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm excited for this because we know the studio behind it, and these guys do not make anything subpar, right?
Amen.
Everything they do is gold, in my eyes, at least so far. So definitely looking forward to this one.
Thanks, man, and I can't wait to see your guys' impressions on it as soon as we have like online, and yeah, and it's not just that. Like I was a little bit late before our because we were testing like the first. I don't know if we are working on Pixar Rip the next episode, right? You guys know that we're going to make a new one, and Anna, you know, she's brilliant. I am one of the greatest fans of her because she's a genius, and the team behind it's now the team that made in 1995. So they are already, you know, like into the zone for the beginning of the production process, and I'm very excited for the next things that we are going to show.
Heck yeah, me too. Do you have any anything you can say about what time frame or anything that this next Pixar Rip might be in, or if you can't say anything, obviously. You know.
No, we know that it's for next year, definitely. Second semester, we don't probably the beginning, but around second, it will be next year for sure.
Okay,
this
cool.
I can tell you.
How about what time frame
and it will
the game takes place
in? Sorry.
What time frame does the game take place in? Like we had Pixar Rip 1989, Pixar Rip 1995, right? Is it a progression up? Are we going to like 2000s? Are we going below maybe to the Atari days? Or are we maybe the Nintendo 64 days?
I am not sure that I can say that, but I just will say that that's not going to be obvious.
Oh.
You know, it's different from what happened before. You know, like maybe Anna can tell more. I don't want to say anything that she is the one who has to say. You know,
I'll tell you what. I was pretty confident there for a second.
I can say that. Sorry?
I was feeling pretty confident for a second because you said it's not obvious. And when you said that kind of dismantled me because I remember you guys reaching out to the community a long time ago before 1995 came out, offering some choices. And the choices there were 95 was one of them and 79 was the other one. And I was thinking to myself, 79 has got to be it because they already threw that out there as an option. But you just said it's not obvious. So I don't know. Maybe it won't be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you know very well like, this franchise, so maybe you
maybe I'm exactly right. Maybe I'm a genius and I know everything, and it's confirmed. Just not confirmed, but you know, between realities, information. For y'all there.
Well, we're excited either way, man, because you guys make magic. So we're excited to check out what you're working on next.
No, yeah, but I think having you can like to be a new IP is very cool. But then coming back with a franchise that we already have an audience and we know how to make it, and then trying something new, and then coming back after it with a new experience. It's good to having this when you persist in VR, right? And you can see like the results of your work coming back in a different way, and then you just increase things. You don't have to make everything from the zero. It's beautiful, right? I think you guys feel the same with your podcast. You know, having when you start a new season, it's always magical, right? I think. Yeah. So I think you guys know the feeling somehow.
Absolutely. What about new experiences like The Line? Do you guys have anything down the road of interactive things that maybe people that don't like to shoot at stuff or whatever will be getting into? Because The Line was obviously phenomenal.
Yeah, what I'd like to say that like VR, we try to create like a short gateway to VR, so people that never thought this technology could be for them realize that maybe it could. So now I have already an experience that we are cooking. but it's not going to be. We are still like waiting a little bit, probably for the next year again, to be the first experience that this kind of people try with interaction as a game, and they realize that can be for them. You know, like, oh, you like interaction in storytelling? Oh, why don't you try this game? You know, but it's not a game for hardcore gamers that use the body and has a very powerful story behind it, and it's longer. We want to definitely mark it as a game, not as a story, a narrative piece like the line, but using a lot of the principles we learned doing the line, you know, for creating this more like, I just say, experimental game. And there is another game that we are doing that it's more like on the pop side, you know, it's more for people that really like pop culture or like video games like superheroes, you know, stuff like that, but always having a twist because we are an indie company, so we'll never be able to create things to compete with like Marvel or DC or Star Wars, you know, but like this one we are already working, and we are making some very, very cool prototypes that we are excited about, and also will be launched by the end of next year. So we'll have next year will be a year full of things to show to you.
We're going to be following, and I hope everyone else here who's been listening and watching will also follow. In the links below, we have in the description below, we have links for Arvery. We've got links to Laganaro. We've got links to the line. Everything is there. So if you haven't checked out the line yet, this is definitely your wake up call. It's one of those experiences that is like perfect for when you've like got your mom over, or like your sister, or your little brother, like somebody who's new to VR, who isn't exactly ready to get into something heavy. That's why you have the line. You've got it there to blow their minds, to give them something that gives them a memory, and then hopefully converts them over to the light side here of the force in the virtual reality world.
Hand tracking, right? And also it has hand tracking, right? Remembers that it's an experience that makes a lot of sense in hand tracking, right?
That's a good
It's
thing to
magical
mention.
to present VR to people using their hands, right?
Yep, it absolutely is. So we're about there. Our audio latency is just getting worse and worse, and worse by the fucking second. So Ricardo, why don't you go ahead and you just give us some closing thoughts as we wrap up the show?
No, I just want to thank you guys and audience and everybody that is listening and interacting, and the ones that are going to see later. We are trying to push the boundaries on our side. Like we know how to create experience that mix storytelling and interactivity and gameplay, and we will always be trying to create things like that to make people love VR more and more, as much as we are loving it. Right, we, like you guys, we changed our lives to be working with that. So and I really want to thank you guys, because our job doesn't exist if you have people like you guys promoting it and making it like known for a bigger audience. So it's like a team, right? We are a team that works for making this whole industry happen.
It's a symbiotic relationship.
I think we are in the best moment for yes, and it's a pleasure to always be here with you guys. Whenever you want, call me and I'll be talking the crazy things that I like to
Ricardo,
talk about.
You are awesome, man. Thank you so much for taking the time. Seriously, like, it means so much to me. Anytime I have an opportunity to connect with you, you are passionate, enthusiastic, intelligent, compassionate. You have all the things that I like in a human being. So we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for people like you who quit their stupid boring jobs to go and make amazing art and amazing VR experiences for us. So thank you so much for all of the work that you do, and we'll take you up on that call. We'll definitely be in touch with you, man.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Of course, say goodbye to Ricardo Laganaro, everyone. It's been a pleasure having him on the show, and it's been a pleasure having all of you in the chat with us. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. Jansen Fox, Hussein X, Smash Drums had to dip out, but he was here. We had Texas Green Tea, Rendered Reality, of course, showed up. Robin, Drew, all you guys, thank you so much.
Amazing. And guys, next week we have a very special episode. I am so stoked to have Jamie and Zena from Upload VR on our show. And I mean, these guys, are in the forefront of all of the newest, latest, and breaking news in virtual reality. They are the #1 VR news source or XR news source in the industry. They are. I love their stuff. I'm in all their live streams. Obviously you see a lot of Upload stuff that we show here on the show, and we're just big fans and super excited to just sit down and have a chat with these guys.
Especially because I don't really see them do stuff like this very often.
Yeah.
This kind of feels like a little bit of an exclusive, I don't think I've ever seen Upload in like an intimate setting like what we do here. So it'll be really awesome to pick the brains of Jamie and Zena next week. But here's the thing, because they are overseas and there's a whole bunch of problems and things
and there's
like that.
E3 is going on that they have to cover, and that's the main thing.
E3 is going on, so we will actually be pre-recording that episode just a day or two before we go live with the premiere at the same time as we normally do, Friday 12 Pacific time.
That's gonna be awesome.
It is gonna be awesome.
Miss it.
Like, subscribe, comment, share, fucking help us grow this community, please, because the show is great. You guys are great, so let's grow it and be a part of something bigger together. Anything else, Skiva?
I think that's it, man. I'm excited. I'm already excited for next week.
Boom. We will see you guys next Friday with Jamie and Zena from Upload VR. Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.